Hi, Shawn here, back with some more no supply, low supply games. And today's version is for Sunday school games, Bible themed games, Christian tradition games, because here on this channel, I like to balance the seriousness of ministry life with the silliness of ministry life. So don't forget to subscribe for serious and silly content. Bible charades. Players can act out a Bible story, a hymn from the hymnal, a character, or even a Christian concept for the others in the room to guess. This game helps reinforce knowledge of the Bible stories and characters in a fun and engaging way. And if your kids do not know the Bible stories or characters by heart, do your lesson first and then have this game be a follow-up to the lesson. If they're still having trouble, instead of just having them individually act things out, break them up into groups and have them act out the Bible story or who the character is together. Bible verse Scramble. Man, this is one that goes back to my days when I was in Sunday school as a kid. This is a low supply game. You'll need some kind of paper. I always used index cards. Those were the easiest for me. Choose a Bible verse, write one word on each of the index cards or slips of paper, and then scatter them around the room. You could tape them to the wall. You could just lay them on tables and chairs and wherever, and then have the kids go find the index cards and then work together to place it together like a puzzle to complete the Bible verse in the correct order. Now, this should be used as a reinforcement lesson on Bible verses that they are already learning. So if you need help coming up with creative ways for the kids to memorize verses, this is one of those, or interact with a verse that was prominent in your Sunday school lesson. This is great for that. Fruit of the Spirit relay. This is much different than the fruit basket toss-up game. Divide players into teams. Each team is going to be racing to complete a list of goals based off of the fruits of the Spirit. You know, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, and self-control. So before this game is played, write down your list or think in your head a task that would go well with each of the fruits of the Spirit. For example, love. That the task could be to give a hug, or if you don't do hugs in your Sunday school, give a high five, or even throw up the love sign. What are the kids? What is that one that the kids are doing with just their fingers? The hearts with just their fingers. I don't understand. I'm still with this one or this one. For patience, they might have to, form a line in patience. So come up with a task that they have to complete, and whichever team completes all the tasks of the fruits of the Spirit first, they win the game, and you can make it a competition, or it could just be a fun activity for a fruits of the Spirit lesson and no competition, just complete the task. Bible story retelling. One player starts by telling a Bible story, any Bible story. Then they pause and the next player will continue the Bible story with what they know. And players continue to tell parts of the Bible story until the story reaches its conclusion. This game encourages creativity and also reinforces the Bible story that you are featuring in your lesson. Bible character, Guess Who. Show of hands. Who loves Guess Who, the traditional game where you flip up the characters? I love that game. But you don't need that game to play this version. One player thinks of a Bible character, and then they give clues about that person's life, deeds, action, attire, but they don't reveal their name. They could say, oh, this person is featured in the Old Testament, or this person is in the letters of Paul. And then the other players try to guess what character they are describing. Creation. This game, of course, by the title you could tell, is inspired by the creation story in Genesis, but with a twist. Players will become creators themselves, which may or may not be heretical to some denominations. Players take turns adding to a collaborative creation story. So this is just a good, fun way to introduce a lesson on creation and how God created the world. So one player starts off and they add a unique element to the creation story. The next person adds another element to the creation story, building upon what the previous players have said. And what you end up with is a creative, imaginative story. So make sure you tell them you don't have to use the original creation story. It doesn't have to be in the same order that Genesis tells us God created the world. It can be in any order. Let's just add elements to the creation story and see how difficult it would be to create and in what order. And you end up with a creative, imaginative story that you could possibly record, or if you're having the students write it down, you could send it home with you. Miracle matchup. This is great if you're talking about Jesus' miracles. We're getting close to Easter, and this is when we start, traditionally, churches' curriculum will start looking at the miracles of Jesus. Create a list before you play of Bible miracles, and then a separate list that corresponds with where those miracles occurred. And then players must match up those miracles with the correct location. So again, you could use index cards for this. You could just use regular, paper, slips of paper. But this activity tests their knowledge of Jesus' miracles and also biblical geography.